Hi guys, it's Una. I just wanted to send you on a little video about the pack that you're going to receive in the post this week. So for the next few weeks, we are going to talk about shape, okay? And this video is designed to help you run through this actual package that you're going to receive in the post. I'll send it to anybody who has email as well, so you'll have it in both, okay? So first of all, I just want to do a little bit of revision. You've probably done some work on shape before, and you should have done in the last few weeks because you have the workbook there. So what I want you to do is have a look at these shapes here. Just let me get my cursor up. Okay, so we have a worksheet here. You don't have to do anything with this. It's just reference, so you don't have to write on this sheet at all. Okay, so we're going to look at the shapes on this sheet, and then we're going to answer the questions on page 2. Okay, now you're going to answer them. I'm just going to show you what you need to do, and then in the video at the end of the week, I'll send you on the answers. All right. So what you've got here is 2D shapes. We have a square, or a rectangle, a circle. This one is called an ellipse, slightly different from an oval, but an ellipse. We have a number of triangles here, an equilateral triangle. That means all sides are the same length and therefore all angles are the same size. An isosceles triangle, that's how you pronounce that one. That means that 2 of the sides are the same length and therefore those 2 angles are the same size as well. Don't worry too much about the angles bit at the moment and the length of the lines. We'll get into that later on. This guy here, a scalene triangle, he doesn't have any, or she doesn't have any angles or lines of the same size or length. And this one here is a right angle triangle, okay? A right angle is this angle here, okay? A nice sharp 90-degree angle, okay? Moving down a little bit, we come to this is a rhombus, okay? A little bit like a diamond shape there, okay? All lines the same length, and opposite lines are parallel. Parallel is like a train track. The lines never meet, okay? A parallelogram, very similar to a rhombus, except that the opposite sides, or sorry, all sides don't have to be equal. Opposite sides are equal in length, but you can see that these sides here are these ones here are much shorter than these ones here, okay? Trapezoid or trapezoid, depending on where you're from. 2 of our lines here are parallel. So it's the one on the bottom and the one on the top. They're parallel, okay? The other 2 are not parallel. They will eventually meet, okay? And here we have a kite. And then on the bottom row, we have a number of different sided shapes, okay? This one here, for example, is called a hexagon, okay? It's got 6 sides, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, okay? So you have a pentagon here, an octagon, and a decagon, and they're all called regular shapes because their sides are all the same length, okay? Now, having read through that, and you can look back up to that sheet for reference when you're answering these, what I'm saying here is that we see shapes around us in everyday life all the time. So I want you to try and answer the questions below. Now, part A, how many of the shapes do you know in page 1? Is it 4, 8, 9 of them, or is it all of them? Okay, so that's just asking you of the shapes that we've just looked at there on page 1. How many do you recognize? How many would you have known already? Okay. Then I want you to tell me which shape looks the same as a stop sign, which shape looks like a plate. You may say there's more than one there, but if there's more than one, put down more than one, I should say. How many of the shapes have a right angle, a 90-degree angle? Okay, and which ones are they? Which shapes are they that have right angles? Pay attention to that. I did tell you about one of them when I spoke through the shapes. I didn't mention it on all of them, so pay attention to that one. Which shape looks like a door? Which shape has 6 sides? How many triangles can you see? So we spoke a little bit about the triangles. Which shape can you fly? That's H there. And which shape looks a little bit like a diamond, like in playing cards? And then lastly, now I haven't mentioned this specifically, but what does 2D mean? Okay, what does 2D mean to you? Have a think about that. Write an answer, okay? And then go and watch this video, okay? It's on YouTube. So just have a quick look at it. It's very quick. It's only a couple of minutes long, and it talks about 2D and 3D shapes. Okay, so have a watch of that. Okay, when you come back after watching that, you will have heard some language that might be new to you in that video. Words like polygon and vertices, for example, might be new to you, but don't worry because we'll go over those later on. Not in this class, later on in the term. The main thing to remember is that 2D shapes are flat. So hopefully you did write something down here, okay? And you can go and see if you've got the right answer. Okay, good. So moving on, question 2. Can you find some 2D shapes at home? Have a look around the house, see what you can find, and make a short list below. So for example, the table mat is a 2D shape. It's got length and width, but it doesn't have height. So it's flat, okay? Have a little think about that. If you can only find one or two, that's okay, but have a go. Okay, now, after that, you're going to move on to some 3D shapes. In the video, you would have heard them describe shapes that have length, width, and height as 3D or three-dimensional shapes, okay? The three dimensions are length, width, and height. Sometimes they're referred to as solid shapes, okay? So have a look at the list of 3D shapes below. So here we go. Again, you don't have to fill anything in with this. It's just for reference. So you have a cone, you have a cylinder, a sphere, a cube, all sides are the same size, okay? This is called a triangular prism, okay? There's your triangle at the front, triangular prism. This is a triangular based pyramid. Now, these can look different depending on who's looking at them because a lot of it is to do with the interpretation. But if you consider that this shape here is the bottom and this point here is the top, that's your pyramid, okay? Sorry, just let me move on there. Okay, then you have a cuboid here, a hexagonal prism, and a square-based prism. So here we've got a square on the bottom. That's the way I'm looking at that, and then our point at the top there. All right, so they are 3D shapes, and we have a lot more 3D shapes lying around the house, I find, than we have 2D shapes. Okay, 3D shape, if you want to consider it, it's solid, or if it's hollow, you can put something in it. A 2D shape is flat, you can't put anything in it. A 3D shape, you can put something inside it. Now, so the next exercise, sorry, just move the sheet over a bit, okay, which is question 3. Okay, I want you to match the 2D shapes to the 3D shapes below. Now, you can see here the first one is done. You've got a triangle here in the 2D shape, and here's our triangle as part of our 3D shape, okay? So I want you to match up the rest of those shapes, okay? So here's our triangle, and here's our triangle face here in our 3D shape. I'll talk about faces in a minute, okay? Now, so have a go at that, see how you get on. Again, I'll give you the answer later in the week. Now, in the worksheet that we've just been looking at, that's the one above, you can see that the 2D shape is one of the faces of the 3D shape. So if you look at the shape below, let's put it all on the screen so you can see it. Okay, yeah, okay. A face, see it here, face, is the flat side or one of the flat sides of a 3D shape, okay? In our shape below, the flat side is a triangle. They're all triangles. Can you see that? That one there. Then we have this one here, and this one here. And if you took the one on the bottom, if you could turn this shape over to face you, you've got a triangle here as well. All right. So this shape is made up of 4 triangular faces. Okay. An edge is where the 2 faces meet. So there's an edge, there's an edge, there's an edge down there, another one here, another one here. Okay. And then a vertex is where 2 edges meet. So you might call it a corner. Okay. If you have more than one vertex, which this shape certainly has, you've got one here, you've got one here, you've got one here, you've got one here. Sorry, very end there. We call them vertices. Okay, so that's just more language that we will talk about next week. Just wanted you to have an idea of what they mean. Now, lastly, whoops, I went on a bit too far there. Lastly, we have this picture. This is a picture of some 3D shapes that I found around the house earlier today, or it was actually yesterday. Okay. All pretty well, most of them household objects. You won't necessarily have all of them at home, but you'll have a lot of them. Okay. Um, so using the names of the 3D shapes that we looked at on page 4, let me just slide back up to page 4. This one here, okay, so you can use that sheet to help you with the names. Answer the following questions, okay? Now, I will tell you one of the shapes mentioned below is not on page 4. It's called an ovoid. See if you can figure out which of the items on the table in the picture are ovoids. Okay, now I want you to tell me, looking at this picture here, excuse me, how many cuboids you can see, how many spheres are there in the picture. There are 6 cylinders. Can you find them all? Can you see the cone? How many ovoids are there? And do you know what the glass shapes are? Okay, the glass shapes are these two guys here. This one there and this one there. All right. And I think there's another one. Yes. Also, part G, there are 2 cubes in the picture. Can you tell me what they're called? Okay, so I want you to find the shapes in the picture that are cubes, and there's a name for them. You'll know them when you see them. Okay, I want you to tell me what they are. All right. And lastly, I want you to make a list of some more 3D shapes that you can find at home. And name the object and the shape. For example, you might have a kitchen roll, and that's the same as a cylinder. Now there's a good few options there. If you want to fill them all in, if you can find enough to fill them in, that's great. If you can only get 4 or 5, that's okay. Don't worry. These two are useful Freudian slip there, useful websites that are very good for doing some revision on shape and some reading if you want to use them. Okay, so that's it for today. That's the lesson plan for this week. You will get this in the post and an email. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you have a bit of fun with it. And I will contact you later in the week with the solutions. Okay, thanks a lot, guys. Bye.